it's difficult to make Dark Souls 1 challenging. Now, before you get up in arms and say, oh, it was my first Souls game, no, this was super hard, or, oh, of course it's difficult to make Dark Souls 1 challenging, let me explain what I mean. Dark Souls 1 is difficult to make challenging because, frankly, you have so many options. You can equip a really good weapon, or you can just level up, or do both of those things to have a great experience. But then whenever you try to make it harder, well, you try to restrict those things. So you say, okay, well, I'm going to do a level 1 run. All right, a level 1 run is a classic Souls challenge. The problem is for Dark Souls 1, a level 1 run's kind of easy, because you can take the hand axe that you get for free at the start, and it's a really good weapon. You don't need anything else but this. But then additionally, the game throws you pyromancy. And you can just throw a great Chaos Fireball on an enemy, and is it going to kill them? Maybe not, but it's going to get pretty close. And so level 1 is kind of solved. There's nothing really difficult about it. But then you say, okay, well, I won't do that. I'll use a really bad weapon, like, say, a broken straight sword. Well, then the problem is, sure, you have a bad weapon, but you can level up as much as you want to, and eventually you'll just win through raw stats. And that's not particularly fun either. And so back in college, my friend and I, when faced with this conundrum, decided, okay, why not both? Let's go ahead, let's do the entire game at level 1 with nothing but a broken straight sword. And that became kind of our in-house challenge. How can we do this? Can we get to the end? And I never finished that challenge. I made it up to Ornstein and Smo, and I just couldn't get past Super Ornstein. No matter how many times I tried, and eventually I wasn't doing content creation back then, I didn't stream at all, and it just kind of felt purposeless, so I stopped going through it. But a few months ago, I made it a challenge with my Twitch community to see if they could get me to go back to it, and they met that point goal, and so we went back, and I had to finish Dark Souls 1 at Soul Level 1 with nothing but the broken straight sword. And while we finished that challenge, it took about 30 hours of pain, and I'm going to be splicing that up into just the successful boss attempts for the next set of videos here on YouTube that I'll be putting out more or less every Saturday and every Wednesday. So twice a week, you get to see me suffer through a few bosses. The reason I'm only giving these successful attempts is because there's a lot of prep work that goes on in between bosses, and sometimes a boss might take me 5 or 6 hours of attempts just to defeat. And so I'm not going to be putting all that up there. I'm going to give you the cliff notes of what's happening in between bosses at the beginning of these videos, and then otherwise, it's just going to be the successful videos for you to enjoy. So I'm going to quickly take the beginning of this video to explain the general premise of the run, what is and isn't allowed, and then let the bosses play from Asylum Demon up through Quelaag. If you want to just skip over to that, you can check the timestamps in the description, just go straight to the bosses. But I'm going to kind of give you the rules of the run, what initially happens, and what to expect. So as far as rules go, it's pretty straightforward, but just to make sure we're clear, the only weapon I can equip is the broken straight sword. Specifically, equip. Not just use, but put on at all. The reason for that is because there are glitches in the game that allow you to, say, take the moveset of one weapon, like, say, the hand axe, and give that moveset to another weapon, like the broken straight sword. Now, you want to do this with the hand axe, but if I, say, had a weapon with a really good running attack, like the mail breaker, I could give that to the broken straight sword and make it do a ton of damage. If you're not certain what this looks like, go watch a speedrun. They do it quite a lot with, say, something like Dragon Tooth, and it just allows you to do really crazy damage. So we didn't want to allow that, and so it has to just be the broken straight sword that gets equipped as a weapon. In the offhand, we do not get any demon catalysts, any pyromancy flame, any talismans, none of that. So essentially, we can't buff using using sorceries, pyromancies, etc. So no power within or anything like that. I am allowed to equip a shield. Usually, this means we're equipping the Grass Crest shield because it just gives us stamina regen. Sometimes a 100% physical block shield, but usually the Grass Crest shield. It's just to give us a little bit of something to work with, and frankly, we don't even use this all the time because sometimes we just want the armor rather than the stamina regen. So that's usually not there, but it is allowed to be there. So that's allowed, and then a few glitches are allowed mostly for quality of life. For example, at the beginning of the game, we don't have a broken straight sword. The game instead starts you with the straight sword hilt, which is a worse weapon in all respects. It has less damage, less range. If you wanted this challenge to be harder, you could put on the straight sword hilt, or you could use just your bare fist with no dragon form, and it would be a harder challenge, but we weren't that sadistic about it, so we said broken straight sword. But the game starts you with this. And so one of our first objectives is getting rid of this to instead have the broken straight sword with its increased range and better moveset. Now to do that, we have to grind a bunch of hollows that have a low chance of dropping the straight sword. And so to help us with that quest, I allowed myself to glitch into Sen's Fortress using a pretty well-known glitch called Sen Skip. If you're not certain about it, you can look up what Sen Skip is. It's essentially just a way to get into Sen's Fortress early and acquire a few items from in there. The one I cared about in particular was this covetous gold serpent ring, which increases my item discovery, which makes the broken straight sword drop more often, so I didn't have to do as much grinding. Frankly, the amount of time I spent getting in was probably about what I could have spent just grinding, so I don't think it helped us that much, but it was there. So we did that. Again, all that did was make grinding a little bit easier. If I didn't want to use that glitch, I would have just spent a little bit longer grinding hollows to get the straight sword. It doesn't really change anything. What does perhaps change things a little bit, although I still don't think it does, is the allowance of item duping items that I have access to. What do I mean by that? Well, you can see here in my inventory, I have, say, 51 green blossoms, 99 repair powder, I've got 52 Titanite, I have like 74 large Titanite shards, 81 chunks. I allowed myself to dupe items that I had theoretical access to. Like, say, for example, humanity as well. I have like 94 humanity here. Why am I allowed to do that? Well, for, say, humanity in particular, I could go up to this aqueduct up here and kill a rat over and over and over to get as much humanity as I need. I could go to the Undead Parish and kill Balder Knights over and over to get as many Titanite shards as I need, so on and so forth. Essentially, there's a lot of items that I need a lot of, and I could grind for, but they aren't particularly fun to grind for, or I'm going to have to do it a ton, and from having streamed this and whatnot, I wanted to make sure things were progressing, and so I allowed myself to dupe those sorts of items just to cut the grind out. It's kind of similar to how if you watch, say, a Pokemon Nuzlocke, sometimes they will allow themselves infinite rare candies just to cut out having to grind level Pokemon. It's kind of the same deal. Now, why do we need these? Titanite is pretty explanatory. I want to upgrade my weapon. And so if I have access to that Titanite somehow, I'm allowed to go ahead and use it to upgrade the weapon. With humanity, humanity is actually the most important thing we have access to. And the reason is whenever you have 99 soft humanity up here in the upper left-hand corner, you get a ton of item resistance as well as a ton of item discovery. So item discovery is only really useful in the sense that we had to get the broken straight sword, so having 99 humanity is really good for making sure we get it quickly. But the resistances are always valuable to us. We can't wear that much armor at level 1 without being over encumbered. And so the way we get around that, at least partially, is by having 99 soft humanity, which gives us all of these resistances, even if we're in no armor. And so we keep 99 soft humanity on us at pretty much all times, because it's also the only way to survive certain attacks at all. Additionally, our weapon of choice later on is a Chaos Broken Straight Sword, which scales with humanity up to 10 soft humanity. And so having at least 10 soft humanity is just needed to do any damage at all. Now, we do eventually allow one other use of the glitch that's a little bit different. I'll explain that one whenever we get there. It's, again, mainly for a quality of life thing, so I don't consider it too hellish for the run, but it does change the nature of things whenever we get to that point. So when that episode comes, I'll explain it in my pre-episode blurb. Otherwise, that's basically it. Oh, additionally, just as a side thing, no summons. I figured that's a given. It's a given for me as a Souls player. You don't use summons whenever you're trying to kill the boss for the first time or you're trying to make it a challenge. Same thing goes here. No Witch Beatrice, no Solaire, none of that. Just me and my broken straight sword. If one of them used the broken straight sword, maybe we could consider them, but they don't. So they're not here. But with that out of the way, I'm going to go ahead, let this episode start. Again, we're going essentially through Asylum Demon up to Quelaag. This includes mainly just things like fighting the Asylum Demon, and then between Asylum Demon and the first boss, we're picking up our broken straight swords, starting to do a little bit of upgrading. This was really a few hours of prep work before we even fought another boss, so a lot of things get cut out, but just know we're going to essentially have a broken straight sword with a bit of upgrading by the end. So, with all that out of the way, I hope you enjoy me suffering quite too much. Have fun. Alright, get our free equivalent of 17 hits. See, we're almost through the first bar and we haven't even used the Nestus. You know, don't think about the fact that that's the bar where we got 34 points of free damage towards it. But hey. You ever wonder why we're here? You know, some would say just to suffer, and that every night I can, like, you know, feel my arm and my legs and, like, the body that I've lost, but I feel okay right now. Like, this isn't bad. I know what bad looks like in Broken Straight Sword, and it looks like Ornstein and Smo. This is just a timer. I feel like I was, you know, in like a fairly safe spot for that, but sure. Alright, so one hit by the time 2 bars are gone, not bad. No, 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 no. No, no, no. Our perfect position lost. God, my throat is dry. Alright, we're better. We're not better. We are so not better. I feel like I should have been hit by that. Like, I realize I really shouldn't be, like, you know, questioning it. I should just be accepting the gift I was given. But I deserve to be hit by that one. Like, we are not living in the world of beautiful Dark Souls 3 hitboxes, so I deserve to be hit. Any curl-up enjoyers? Best emote in the game had to be removed from Elden Ring because, you know, quick dodging with curl up was too strong. That's my theory. You know, they say they moved the emote button to, like, the menu so you could have room for the jump button. I think it was just because curl up was too strong. Curl up and layout, you could dodge so much with those. Enough to, you know, be worth nerfing? No, not at all, but I'll take any excuse I can to be pissed at Elden Ring. In terms of, like, Estus, the health taken, we're doing well. I hate that. I hate the little wind box on it where it's just like, yeah, you still get hit by, like, the shockwave, though. Alright. We're back where we want to be. No! He doesn't want me looking up there. He's got something to hide from us. As they say, never trust a man that won't show you his ass. And right now, Asylum Demon's refusing. What's he got to hide? I gotta say, there is something about, like, the Dark Souls 1 enemy design that still just hits right. Like, I don't know, Asylum Demon really does just look like a monster. Taurus Demon just looks like a monster. They got their fucked up demon monster aesthetic down. You know, I don't want to jinx it for the people who voted, like, 2 to 3. It's looking pretty good for you. I'm amazed that, like, the impact didn't hit me there. You know, maybe we actually can trust Asylum Demon. Because, like, Asylum Demon's not hiding anything, though. Just another few hundred hits and we're there. Why they get Asylum Demon so much health, you know? It's almost like you're meant to fight him with, like, a better weapon than this. Like, I don't know, that might just be me, but I feel like maybe there's, like, some way to acquire a better weapon than the straight sword hilt for fighting the Asylum Demon. Has anyone looked into that? Like, it feels like something the devs would have intended. Not gonna lie, I clenched a little on that one. I feel like we deserve to be hit. Okay, alright. Karma comes back for me. Okay, now that one I don't think we deserved. That thing really does just jiggle. Like, how have I never noticed this? Like, don't get me wrong, like, obviously I've known that, like, Asylum Demon's ass is a meme. But, like, I never knew it jiggled like that. That was just the wrong direction to roll. There we go. Now we're back where we want to be. Let me tell you, 15-year-old me playing Dark Souls for the first time had an awakening. Yeah, an awakening to an ass beating. Damn, how old was I when I first played Dark Souls? Yeah, I was fucking going down memory lane because I just remember, like, first time playing Dark Souls, getting into the depths, falling, like, down a pit into the basilisk, having no clue where I was, no bonfire, no anything, scared out of my mind. I didn't even know what curse was. I was just scared of being there. And just, like, clamoring for an hour around the depths with no Estus, trying to find a bonfire. That was great. That is like a feeling I have been chasing in every Souls game ever since, and it's just never hit. I'll say this, for all the shit I give Elden Ring, the section of Elden Ring that's like a copy of the DS1 depths, I like that one. That section's pretty good. It didn't give me the same feeling, but it was reminiscent. And I'll take that. But I've never again felt that same sense of just like absolute bonfire like need. Which, granted, I think it's just because like bonfires became so much more kind even in like DS2. Like obviously DS3 bonfires are like the meme of being way too kind, but DS2 they were also like decently kind. Not too kind, but they were kind enough. DS1 is a lot more like, look, if we give you a bonfire, you better thank us, because you're not getting another one. You know, I could have rolled that. I probably should have rolled that, but I still don't feel like I deserve to be hit by that one. Can't tell what way he's swinging, so I don't know what way to dodge. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. Yep. No, we're not getting there. Let's just get him away from the wall. Like, we're fine right now. We've got one Estus left. He's only got a little bit of health. We just need to, like, be principled about our approach. Like this. Oh, what the hell, man? Gonna be like that? There we go. Hey, can we get that, like, wide swing from the right side? Thank you. Why, buddy? Alright, yeah, reset. Alright, wide swing from the right side. You know, that's good enough. Buddy. He is not wanting to make these last few hits easy. And yes, I am capable of learning from my mistakes and rolling in a different direction. There we go. Alright, 3 tries, not bad. Let's see. Alright, enjoy your win, 2 to 4. Alright. So that's like the hardest part of the initial run done. Because now we've just got, like, a bunch of prep work to do. Sad, I know. I'm sorry, also. Surely we get Pinwheel 1 try. Oh, right, I forgot there's the little lead up to his arena. Hey, do you think we get the good mask? Like, we're hoping for Mask of the Child here, right? I mean, I guess, like, honestly, Giant Mask, like, Dad Mask isn't bad. Because the Father's Mask, at least, like, we get some carry weight out of it. I don't even remember what the Mother's Mask does. Is it, like, Max Stam? mom mask here? Maybe. Yep, that's Pinwheel. Stam regen? I thought the child's mask was stam regen. Alright, let's see. Damn. Damn. Oh. Okay. So yeah, this is a thing, I guess. Then it's like you go back this way. Because that's the door to Capra. And you just kind of drop out. Hi, doggies. Okay. Apply lightning pine resin. Or gold pine resin. Oh, whoa, whoa, I thought that was their safe spot. Alright, come on, doggies. Capra, I'm gonna need you to, like, fall or something. That's not what I meant. Alright, here we go. Alright, dog number 1 is down. Dog number 2 is down. Alright, we're good. Safety sip. Nope, we're out of DPS. Hold on. Please reapply every 1 to 3 business days. Please reapply your safety sip once every 3 business days as well. You know, I kind of hadn't realized since it's been so long, Capra Demon's kind of got the OST though. Okay. Well, Capra was fine. Hey, and Demon Great Machete. Glad I took the time to dupe the moss clumps. You know, I was mid-roll there, but sure. really is just a wet noob. Let's just top off. Also, I do not like the area we're in, so let's move out. Just do like any attack. Do like any other attack. Alright, but like any other attack. Okay, but like anything else, you know? Yeah, that's fine. Oh, okay. Okay. That's, yeah. That was perfect, game. Okay, I thought she was gonna do the AoE. I'm much happier with getting spit on. And I don't really like this area either. Now that was good damage. Good damage, a lot of the lava is gone. We're gonna need more gold pine in a moment. I'm just kind of waiting for the opportunity. Good thing that comes out in like an extra wave. I really didn't want to roll into lava there. I was so worried we were about to. Alright. Couple more good damage windows and we will be a-okay. You know, that was like a 90-degree angle Quelaag, but sure, why not? You've earned it. Just in case. We just gotta disengage from that. I really wanted to greed the kill, but that was not the time to do it. That was the time. Goodbye. Alright, to everyone's waifu who I just killed, you know, or to everyone whose waifu I just killed, sorry. But, you know. Sometimes these things happen.